Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. It's time for our second annual Naughty and Nice list. This is where we share what we enjoyed about 2021 and what we didn't. What do we hope repeats in 2022, and what do we never want to see again? Join us for some serious talk and some laughter as we close out 2021. Listeners, today we're coming back at you with our second annual Naughty and Nice list. This is modeled after the man in the red suit with the white beard. You know who I'm talking about, right, Julie and Mindy?
Oh, yeah.
Santa. And we did this last year for 2020, and it was so much fun, we decided to do it again. I mean, let's face it, we all have some things we want to cross off our list of complaints, get off our chest, and we all have some things we want to highlight about 2021. Do you guys agree, Julie and Mindy?
Right. It's a good chance to air out all the bad things.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Write them and burn that list and then move on to the good stuff.
And then, celebrating the good stuff. It's good to remember, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's a good way to close out the year.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. Well, let's get started right off with our naughty list. And who wants to say their first naughty thing about 2021?
I'll go.
Oh.
Cancer goes right to the top of my list because it started January 19th of 2021.
Oh.
And I know it does. I know that's at the top of a lot of people's list.
Right.
It's just a terrible disease that came on us as a total surprise last January. And while John's had a great response so far, chemo gets to go on the naughty and the nice list because it's because of chemo that his tumors have almost shrunk to nothing. And that was way more than anyone, including his doctors, expected. But it goes on the naughty list because it makes him feel really bad.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's definitely been the overarching naughty list item in our life.
Oh, my goodness.
For sure.
Yes.
But I am so glad, Julie, that we are coming up on 2022 and we're able to celebrate that John's tumors have shrunk so much.
I know.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yep.
Mindy, what is at the top of your naughty list?
Oh, well, this was an item that we joked about this last year when we did this. Part of it's on the naughty list and part of it's on the nice list. But the part that's on the naughty list is that we moved and we left behind our son Grant, friends, and our church in Knoxville, Tennessee this year. So that's much more, I'm going to talk about it again in a different light, but that was hard. It was hard and sad. And I miss my son. I miss him being able to drop by anytime and come for Sunday dinners and take his brothers out and, friends that we had there. And so it was just hard to leave, hard to say goodbye.
Moving to a new place can be nice, but there's a lot of naughty aspects of it for sure.
There are.
And the naughty has to come before the nice, I think.
It's true. It's a bittersweet thing. Like there's just, but that's the sad part of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, the first thing on my naughty list is something that might be on a lot of people's naughty lists. I had a Facebook memory pop up a couple weeks ago, and it was a post from 4 years ago where I was singing the praises of Walmart grocery pickup and encouraging other people to try it. And I seriously thought, was that 4 years ago? Because if I wrote a Facebook post about that today, it would be so much different.
Really?
Oh, no, Marie.
I feel like 2021 has been the year that Walmart grocery pickup died for me.
Okay.
So when
I'm agreeing with you on this
Are
one.
you?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
well, let me tell you about my problems with it, and you tell me if you've experienced them.
Okay.
So when I first started, the app was so simple. I kept it continually on my local grocery store on pickup only, and I went in and added what I wanted. I went back at the end as soon as I hit $35 or more, I checked out. It was easy. Then they switched it that you had to choose pickup or the entire Walmart's catalog of items in the entire country every time you got home. So it was or every time you got on. So it was an extra step. Every time I went on to add one item, I had to pick which one I wanted. Now in 2021, they messed with it again. You guys, how do you get on focus groups? Who are they asking? They are not asking moms. Is this a good change? Now for every single item you add, you have to choose pickup, delivery, shipping, in-store, or you have to look at the 18,000 choices for granola that you could get shipped from anywhere in the country. I don't want that. I want to go down to my local Walmart pickup. What do you carry in your store? And I don't want to search it out.
That's just stupid.
Yes. Have you experienced that, Mindy?
I am. Okay. So I've had several problems. First of all, this is also naughty, but this goes along with it. They're constantly out of things I need this year.
Yes.
Still. But no, I've had things sent to the wrong store. I've had things that were saved in the cart for later. I didn't know that they were out of stock. It didn't tell me until I went to pick it up and I didn't get it. And then I go to order it the second time and those things are still in my basket. And I'm like, well, no, I don't need them anymore. Thankfully, I went to another store.
Right.
But, I've had a lot more problems this year.
That's just, I haven't used them in forever. I don't know why. I just kind of go through phases. So that's good to know. I don't think I'll get back.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And that's not the end of my problems with grocery pickup, because even if I could stand the new app, which I'm not the only one, I've actually gotten off on Facebook and looked in groups, and other people hate the new app too. So I'm not alone. But even if I could stand the new app, when you go to pick them up, I am waiting up to 30 minutes for someone to bring my groceries out. Why do they ask me to check in on the way? And then they say, got it, you're on your way. Why aren't they waiting in the parking lot for me? Or at least have my stuff ready to go. I park. They say, what parking spot are you in? You mark it. Got it. No need to call. Oh, there is definitely a need to call, because after I've sat there 5 or 10 minutes and no one comes out, I start calling. And
there's no one working, Marie.
Oh my goodness. It's just ridiculous.
That's right. There's nobody there.
I cannot with Walmart pickup anymore. Actually, my last time that I was sitting there for 30 minutes, I thought, I have got to tell Walmart how terrible this is. So they have a feedback button on their app.
Oh, no.
I wrote them a scathing review. Did I hear one thing back? No. I mean, it is ridiculous.
The person reading those didn't show up that day.
Oh my goodness. So Walmart pickup for me has died in 2021.
Yes. I did also have a situation, Marie, not too long ago where I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get these groceries taken care of. Well, then it sent me a text that it wasn't ready yet. So now I'm waiting, like at home, I'm waiting to leave. And it was over an hour before they texted, okay, it's time to come. Well, when I showed up, the 20 marked spots are all full.
Oh my goodness, Mindy, that's going to be an hour.
I couldn't even park in a spot with a number.
Oh, you're lost.
I was like, oh, this is not good. And we're creeping up on my bedtime at this point. Like I was trying to sneak in this order at night.
Yes.
There were people all standing around the door waiting for a worker to come out so they could talk to them. I was like, I hope nobody gets hurt, because this looks really bad.
That could be a dangerous
I would
situation.
rather have them put my groceries on the sidewalk with my name on a piece of paper, and I will load them myself.
Yes. That's so funny, Marie. That wasn't on my list, but I can totally relate.
All right. Well, Julie, what else is naughty about 2021 for you?
Well, that kind of leads into mine. Just, like during the heart of COVID, there were certain buzzwords that just kind of made you cringe, like quarantine and
new normal,
things like that. Well, the new one for me is supply chain issues. I'm so tired of hearing that. I'm so tired of hearing those words.
Yes.
And I'm just so tired of going to stores and seeing empty shelves, products that I love that are no longer there.
Right.
Or just even like you said, Maria, I hadn't thought about this, but like one of our favorite restaurants just got rid of the French dip sandwich. Like, why would you do that? It was the best thing they had. We told them that. I was like, this is the only way I get the men in my family to come to this place.
Right.
It's Merides in Franklin.
Oh.
And they were just like, we don't know why we got rid of it. Like, well, did you ask anybody?
Right.
How do you get into these focus groups where you tell people?
Right.
Yes.
It's like, it's your most popular sandwich. So yeah, just stuff like that. And I know that in the grand scheme of things, that's not a big deal, but it's just weird. Like, I never thought I'd see the day that the Brentwood Chick-fil-A would no longer have the dining room open past 2:00. That's weird. I mean, that's one of the I've heard it's one of the busier Chick-fil-A's in the country, and you can't even go inside the store anymore most of the time. Like I used to go through there and see youth groups in there on Wednesday night. Like it was a social place, and I just can't believe they don't have enough workers.
I know
to
people that are
staff the
supposed
Chick-fil-A.
to meet their future spouse there.
I know, like my daughter.
They're up a creek, man. They're never getting married now.
Well, no, I hear you on supply chain, Julie, because, okay, I ordered a couple of Christmas presents from Amazon, and I've been waiting for them. And they've been saying delayed. And I just got on today, and they weren't even pictured in my orders. I'm like, okay, what happened to these? I go to like my original order, and I click on them, and they go, we assume this was lost in transit. What? Like when I was tracking it, I saw it arrived in Brentwood. Like it's floating around. Like where is it?
Oh no,
that's weird.
Like it's
I've never seen that excuse.
No, Amazon usually is good, but 2 of my packages are apparently lost somewhere floating around Brentwood. They have no idea. They'll probably come after Christmas. Yeah, so frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and I buy most of my stuff on Amazon or not Amazon, but just, online. But during Christmas, I really do like the mall. There's kind of a festive, cheery feel. Wrong. Have you been to the mall lately?
Oh, no.
It is like a dead zone. It's quiet. Stores are closed. Like, this store doesn't open till 1:00. Like they're all open
workers.
at different. They're all open at different hours. Some aren't open at night. It's just weird. It's sad.
Right.
It is weird. Yes. DSW, you guys, is only open 12 to 6 and they're closed on Wednesdays. Okay. A lot of times people like to shop for shoes in the evening or the morning.
Yes.
You can only go in the afternoon now.
I noticed that. I was over at Joann's and I was going to run into DSW, not open. And all these people were coming up to the door disappointed.
Yes.
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And restaurants we used to go to after church, we're not open Sundays or Mondays anymore. Wouldn't you think Sunday would be one of the bigger days?
I guess not.
Well, and I'm seeing signs on the door like closed for lack of workers.
Yeah.
Like stores that would be open, but there's just nobody to work. And so they're not there. Everywhere I go has a, now hiring sign.
Yeah.
On the spot interviews.
I know.
That's right. Hey, the good news is if you need a job, there's a butt ton of jobs out there.
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, Mindy, what's next on your naughty list?
Okay. So this is also one of those things. It's good and bad, but this has been a year that we ended up spending a lot of money. And
like moving and all that.
Yes, because of all of the wonderful things happening, it is just not fun when you have a year of spending a lot of money. Like it was kind of like starting over, new things for the house. Abby got married. So there were just
a move and a wedding.
Hello. New house and wedding. Like enough said.
Right.
I'm over here trying to get out of my minivan one day, and that is never going to happen if this keeps going on. So I am so glad that the year's almost over because Bryce and I are like, we just do not like spending money. We needed to spend money. We had these things budgeted, but it still doesn't feel good to pay a lot of money on stuff.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it definitely does.
Yes. You're glad you have it, but you'd rather spend it on something a little more fun.
Yeah.
Right. Or save it or put it in the stock market or something, like it's fun to make money.
Right. Oh, well, I can see why you'd have that on your naughty list, Mindy.
It is.
All right. Well, the next thing on my naughty list is something a little more serious than Walmart grocery pickup, but I do think a lot of people have dealt with this because of or during the pandemic. It doesn't really matter why. I just think it's been more common. This year, we started going to a new church after being at the same one for almost 20 years. And I'm sharing this on my naughty list on the podcast because I think that a lot of listeners have experienced this situation and would agree that it's hard. Regardless of why you leave a church, it is so hard to change. And it is so hard to lose those connections. And it's so hard to start over and lose like your memories and your history. And it's just hard. And It's especially hard in midlife because I feel like your kids are kind of a springboard to get to know people. And when your kids aren't there, it's hard. So
you have to do all the work.
I know. And,
Yeah.
we visited a lot of churches throughout like 2020 and even into 2021. And honestly, probably 99.999% of them, you can literally walk in on a Sunday morning and you can walk back out and no one will have spoke to you or made a connection with you. And that was kind of discouraging to me after having not been a new visitor in a church for so long to see that that's the state of churches.
Right.
And I don't really know how to fix that, but it is sad.
I don't know how to fix that either, Marie, but that is at the top of my list of drudgeries when we move. Anytime we've moved, that's been like the hardest part because now that you guys have gone through that, like I remember thinking like I would dread Sunday. I would dread trying to go and figure out how they do things and figure out what they called things and where the kid's supposed to go, where are we supposed to go? And you just feel so like a fish out of water at church. And that usually you want that place to be just easy. You want to be able to show up and you have friends and you know where to go. And but those were the most depressing times is trying to find a church home. And I hate to say that, but it was one thing that was very depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you haven't left your church is different. So I don't know if Marie, if you're experiencing those churches and they're different than they used to be, or, that's probably a combination of things. I just feel like church is different and I miss the old way. And I can't even really put my finger on what it is. But there's just so many people missing. It's so, it's kind of vacant looking and it's, I don't know. And I haven't gotten back into serving and that's probably on me, but I'm just not in a place to do that right now, but it's just different. Yeah. I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that we have noticed, and this can be a good thing and it can also be a bad thing, but nobody really knows if you're new or not because everybody seems to be coming back out, like going back to church. It's a new thing for even the old members. And so
that's true.
If you're walking into a really large place, they may not know if you're an old member, new member, did you just move? Like, are you changing churches? They have no idea. And so honestly, just kind of knowing that when you walk in someplace, like the person next to you has no clue whether you're new or not, because you know what I mean? So everybody's kind of on the same playing field. So that can be a positive, but it's really lonely to walk into church and not be talked to.
Right. Right. So anyways, that's on my naughty list for 2021 is just like the changes that I feel around church.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The next thing on my naughty list was tornadoes. We started off last year on the heels of devastating tornadoes in Nashville. And then we've just come through a series of more last weekend. And I just read this report that there were 15 tornadoes in Tennessee last weekend.
Wow.
And we weren't even the hardest hit. Mayfield, Kentucky is just totally demolished.
Right.
And I don't like storms. I just feel like we've had enough of Nashville's had enough of storms, and all we lost was sleep. But it was a scary night. So,
oh my goodness,
they're on the naughty list.
Yeah, I never get up like in the middle of the night for the tornado sirens. I can think of maybe one time in living here 18 years in this house, but the other night Steve was home and he actually heard the tornado sirens and I didn't, and he actually felt like it was serious enough for us to all go downstairs. And we never do that. Like,
well, they said that Tennessee leads in deaths from tornadoes at night because no one is getting up. So
I used to just ignore
going off. So like you couldn't have,
I guess my phone was going off, but Steve said I didn't hear it. So
it's pretty loud.
I had my sound machine and my earplugs in, and who knows?
Wow, Marie, you were sleeping good.
Yeah, I know. For that 1 hour of the night, Mindy.
Oh gosh. And then he woke you up.
3 to 5, we were up watching tornadoes go by.
Yeah. So that is a naughty list thing. For sure. Well, let's move on to our nice list because I know that is something that we all do want to get to. So, Mindy, why don't you start us off with your top nice list thing for 2021?
It's hard to pick a number one, but my very favorite thing that happened this year was Abby got married.
Oh, yes.
We started the year of 2021 with a newly engaged daughter. And so it was just very exciting to be able to kind of start the wedding planning and set the budget and pick the dress and the venue and all this stuff. And so, and we were so thrilled with Joey, with her now husband, and they have actually just celebrated 6 months of being married. And so just her getting engaged, getting married, their first apartment, like they've just decorated for Christmas. I love all of these newly married things that they're doing. And it's just, I'm celebrating them constantly. They bring me so much joy. So I'm very thankful.
Yes. I can't believe that's been 6 months already.
I know.
Yeah. Time goes by fast.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That was a beautiful wedding. And it is so fun to see how they're settling in. And they'll have a lot of new changes even over the next year, too, with graduating and starting jobs and all that.
Yes, it's true. That's on the horizon.
See young couples starting their new traditions.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Julie, what's on your nice list?
Just the outpouring of support and encouragement and love from friends this year. It's been the toughest year of our lives, and I know it might continue to be, but we couldn't have made it without support from friends and our church and our community and John's partners in his group. I mean, everybody's just been so encouraging and just really showed up. And I just don't know where I'd be without that.
Yeah.
And it's just been a whole learning experience to know that we can experience joy in the middle of suffering. Kind of learning like the art of living, even when suffering is like all around. Because suffering can kind of completely fill your mind and your thoughts, no matter how big or how little it is.
Right.
You know, if your dog's sick, it can consume your whole thoughts. Or if your husband has cancer, like they can feel just as weighty at times, you know, because it just tends to fill the space, you know. But what I'm learning is kind of that very simple or small things can cause joy in that same way. Like they can be very small, but kind of just become something really great to celebrate. And yesterday, John woke up feeling great. He was up before I was. I could just tell something was different. And he had been really in a bad way for like a week, you know, just off and on, not getting out of bed, just really, really fatigued and some other symptoms. And yesterday was just different. And it was just like, hey, we're going to go out. We kind of went all over Nashville with a friend and just trying out new places, new cafes, coffee shops, like total fun, just nothing that we had planned. And it was just like a magical day. And it was all, you know, I don't know a year ago if I would have thought about that in the same way. It would be like, oh yeah, it was great to go here. But it was like, hey, you're not sick today. You're not exhausted. You know, it was like you were celebrating the things that weren't happening. Just that was enough to celebrate and be joyful about. And those kind of things don't make sense logically, that you can have joy in suffering, but that is what I'm learning through all of this. So,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And we've had an outpouring of prayers and concern and encouragement from listeners too for you, Julie. And I know that's meant a lot when people email us and message us that they're praying for you. And
yeah, listeners have been on the nice list for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, let's see. On my nice list for 2021, I hope my kids or nobody in my family takes offense at this, but one of the nicest things we did was adopt a dog.
Oh my goodness.
And it's like the year of Clara. So you guys know that for years I refused to get any pets. Like I just could not understand why people would even bother with pets. I was raising 5 kids. I'd had pets growing up. Like that was enough for me. Like I didn't feel the need. And in the spring, one of my daughters who's graduating next year was like, I want a dog, Mom. I want a dog to run with. I want a dog to hike with. Everybody has a dog. Why can't I get a dog? And I just felt like it was more than one of those usual complaining, throw out a suggestion to Mom. Like I felt like she really wanted me to take this seriously. So I said, fine, I'll start looking for a dog. But I kept thinking that she probably would not keep up with this. But she started sending me pictures of dogs. And why wouldn't I take this one? And why wouldn't I pick that one? And my other kids were totally involved, on board to get a dog too. My one son that was getting ready to go to college in the fall, one day he was sitting there, he's like, did you pick out a dog yet? And I said, no. I said, I just can't decide. He goes, Mom, I have one summer before I go to college. Just go down there and pick out a dog. And I was like, any dog would do, basically. And guys, I like to research. I don't want to just pick out the first dog that I see. I have to research. So anyways, I did finally decide on a dog because my kids were literally asking me every day. But as the day got closer and closer to pick her up, I thought, oh, this is a mistake. I'm not a dog owner. I don't want to worry about her when I have to go somewhere. Who's going to watch her? Like all that stuff. And I just was like, oh, I wish something about this dog would fall through. And when it came to pick her up, none of my kids would go with me, you guys. My one daughter was working, so I give her a pass. But one daughter and one son said, no, they didn't feel like it. And I said, are you kidding me? After I said I would get a dog. I'm raising my voice at this point. This dog was going to come home on a week trial. That's how the rescue works. And so I said, I'm telling you, if I don't love this dog, by the time the week is over, I'm taking her back guilt-free. And you're never going to get me to get another dog again, because I couldn't believe that the very first day weren't even interested to go get her. So anyways, of course I hear like, okay, fine, I'll go. I'm like, no, at this point, I don't want you to go. So my mom and I went, and we went and picked her up. And by like an hour after having her at home, Steve was like, okay, this dog is never going back at the end of the week, because we'd already fallen in love. And that is kind of how it's been all year. Like we just all bonded and enjoyed over the shared experience of owning a dog. Like it was new for all of us. We all loved having her this summer. She went on so many walks and so many car rides. And even my oldest daughter, who doesn't live at home, she grew up kind of with my not really love for animals, but she actually loves Clara. She said, Mom, I would get a dog if I could get a dog just like Clara. And so she watched her for me when we recently went away, and she loved having her.
You mean not just like Charlie? Uh-oh. I'm a little offended.
So yeah, it's been such a great experience. And of course, who loves the dog more than anyone in the family?
I was going to say, isn't she mostly your dog,
She
Marie?
is.
Yeah, when you changed your profile picture to just you and Clara, I knew something was up.
Something had changed.
You guys, if you're in midlife and you've never owned a dog, try it. It's so fun because you finally have the time to devote to some kind of frivolous love. Like, I know that I don't have to buy her fun things and, walk her 2 times a day. Like, I know I don't have to do that, but I enjoy it now because I have time, and she follows me around and gives me so much love that it's all worth it. So,
Marie, stop it. Leave me alone. I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet, Mindy.
That sounds like a nightmare for a pet to follow me around. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm really trying to have some alone time.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. I mean, even Steve and I have enjoyed taking her to dog-friendly restaurants this year. Like, we have just had a great time owning Clara. So that is at the top of my nice list.
That is so sweet. I do love hearing about that.
Yes. So anyways, but great. Julie, what is next on your nice list?
Well, I would say the Bible recap. This is my first time to ever read through the whole Bible straight through chronologically. And it has totally transformed the way I read and understand the Bible, like searching for God's character on every page, not what he's trying to say to me, but what it says about him. Because, when you read Leviticus or Deuteronomy, you're not so sure what it's trying to say to you.
Right.
But you can always find, even in those, quote, boring books, that you typically stop at, you never get past,
Yeah.
that they have a lot to teach you about who God is. And I kind of thought, well, I'll do this for a year, but as I'm approaching the end of the reading time, it'll start over January 1st, and I totally plan to do it again, because I've heard people that have done it multiple years. You just get something new out of it every time you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about that. I love the podcast that goes with it. You read about 20 minutes a day, and then listen to a short 7-minute podcast. And the lady that does it, Tara Lee Cobble, she's very funny. She keeps it light. She explains things that are confusing, or she'll always be good about giving maybe the two prominent views. She won't just say this is the absolute meaning of this. She'll say, well, there's some disagreement about this, but here, I'll give you something to read. Here's what most people think. It's either this or this.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that she does that. And yeah, it's just been great. So if you are looking for something like that, I highly recommend it.
Yes. And if you started that at the beginning of the year like I did and only made it through the Old Testament, you can do the New Testament in 2022, which but it is awesome and really, really good.
Okay, so explain this to me. I'm sorry. I remember talking about this before, but is this an app? Like, how do you start this?
You download the Bible Recap app.
Got it.
And you can go to the website to get the reading plan. Like if you want to read it out of your Bible, or I just read it off the Bible app.
Okay.
But so you can download that plan in the Bible app that coordinates, how you how you read it.
Okay.
But you just read by the day, like it's day 1, day 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have been curious about this. So I'm really glad you brought that up, because I'm interested in giving it a shot next year.
Yeah, I
definitely
think you should. Mm-hmm.
And there were times I got behind, like I tended not to do it so well on vacation or whatever, but it's pretty easy to get caught back up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not overwhelming.
No. What's on your nice list, Mindy?
I am so thankful for this huge thing that happened for us. We started the year with Bryce receiving a new job, and that is here in LaGrange, Georgia. And we have been so thankful for this job. So basically, we were offered the job in January of this year. And so then kind of started our plans of finding a house and transitioning here. He started in March. Our family finally moved back together again the end of May. And I'm ending the year just praising the Lord for this job, because first of all, if you've ever been without a job, you know how joyful it is to be able to get a job, and not just any job, but a really good job. And the fact that my husband loves going to work, the fact that we just had all of his staff in our home for a Christmas party celebrating last week, that meant the world to me. I'm able to go in the hospital and help them decorate for Christmas. I have friends of coworkers. I see people at the gym that work with Bryce. And it is a community thing. So when I say job, it's not just the job, it's the entire community. It's all the people we've met through it. It's the friends we've made through it, friends at work, friends at church, friends in the neighborhood. It has provided just something completely wonderful for our family. And I just cannot imagine ever leaving this place and these people. And it's amazing, because I mentioned that Abby has been married 6 months. Well, the day after she celebrated her 6-month anniversary, we celebrated our 6-month anniversary of moving to Georgia. So
that's awesome.
It's great that you feel a part of them already. Yeah.
Yes, it feels like home. And it's really wonderful to go into 2022 not looking for a job, but also celebrating this fabulous place, this gift that the Lord has given my husband and our family.
Going into 2022, not looking for a job, not looking to move. Woo-hoo!
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next thing on my nice list kind of dovetails with my naughty list about the churches, and only just the loneliness of church shopping.
Right.
But this is something that is something nice that's happened, and I hope that it will encourage other people. So like I said, we did start at a new church, and like I said before, it's really hard to get to know people. But one of the things they always say you can do to get to know people is to join a small group, and so we did. And of course, when you join something during the week that's extra, you're like, oh, how am I going to fit that in? And for a while, it feels hard to fit in. Like just into your schedule sometimes. So if you're feeling that, I encourage you to kind of keep going. And then also when you start to meet with new people, that can feel awkward. There's just a lot of surface conversation that has to happen. There's a lot of awkward conversation. There's just getting to know people that maybe only come once and then don't come again. Like it's kind of, you just know you're going to kind of go through that awkwardness. Right. And so at first, when I joined the small group, I just had to keep telling myself, like, this should be worth it. People say this is worth it. Keep going, keep going. And I would say about 4 weeks in, there was a moment where I was sitting there that I was like, oh, I really feel like something has shifted. And I feel like we're kind of entering a new phase in the group. And I feel like this is a point where real friendships could start to develop. And it's been slow and it takes time even from that point. But just last Sunday night, we had a dinner together as small group at our leader's house. And it was kind of to celebrate like ending our book that we were working on and also to celebrate Christmas. And it was so nice. Like we hadn't sat down to eat together before this. And we just had great conversation. The food was really good. And more than that, it just felt like community. It just was a very good feeling. And I thought, this is so nice, especially when I think about how I felt just like 12 weeks ago starting this small group. I just felt encouraged. So if you're listening and you're kind of thinking of starting a small group in 2022, or you're kind of in that early stage, and I mean, I would definitely say our group is still in the early stage, but I would say that it's growing. Like there's some inside jokes and there's like things we know about each other. And that feels like you're building community.
You stuck it out because that can be hard when you aren't feeling that yet. And you just want it so badly. You just want it to hurry up and happen.
Yes, because it does. You're so right. It takes time. And that's how I feel here is I know I'm tired of the surface conversations and I'm so thankful to be getting past those, like with people that, we met 6 months ago. And so I love hearing that, Marie, because it will grow. It will get better. You will get to know each other. It just takes putting one foot in front of the other. Keep showing up and keep getting through the awkward conversations. And at some point it will get comfortable. I love hearing that.
Yeah. All right, Julie, what else is on your nice list for 2021?
Well, God has given us lots of gifts this year, and we got to travel again this year to new places. And last January, I really didn't think that would be happening. So that was a really great treat. My first excursion after John's diagnosis was to one of my favorite hiking spots with a good friend on Roan Mountain, which is on the Tennessee-North Carolina border, and it's on the Appalachian Trail. So that was just a really neat, refreshing time to be up there, kind of after the initial shock of John's diagnosis. And that was in June. And then we were able to take a family trip to Colorado around Father's Day where our whole family could be together. And then John and I took a road trip. We decided that he didn't like flying. Colorado, we flew. So we started taking road trips.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to matter how far. It was like, no, we're going in the car. So we drove to Massachusetts for two 10-hour day drives,
Yeah.
Wow.
We went up there for a sailing race, and that was just an amazing weekend. John got to sail. We were in a race. He was given an award, and we have this beautiful plaque that's going to hang on our wall till next year, till the next race. And that was just unbelievable that he got to do that. And it was just great for me to finally meet those people that he's been sailing with all these years. And then we even got to take a fun trip to Nantucket, and we ended up driving to Mackinac Island in Michigan. And you know how I love islands.
Sure.
So that was fun. That was kind of a dream trip. And I know we've just had a lot of good family time together. Like we took Ezra out on our boat in October when he visited, and that was just an amazing night with an amazing sunset. And just really fun. And so the gift of travel, because we were already coming off 2020 where it was minimal.
Right.
Yes.
And then I didn't think anything would happen in 2021. So that was just a neat surprise.
Oh, that's wonderful blessing, Julie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love hearing that.
So hopefully there'll be some more this year.
Yes. Mindy, what's next on your nice list?
The next really big thing dovetails out of all the money we spent this year, but we bought a new house.
Yay!
And it has been such a sweet place for us to land. And we have really spent the entire year, first of all, looking for the house, finding a house, going under contract with the house, that falling apart, coming to this house, buying it. And then it was time to make it ours, which we've spent the rest of the year doing. And so we did a major landscaping remodel. We've remodeled part of the master bathroom. We've painted everything. I've been trying to settle everything, really culminating in hosting major groups of people now towards the end of the year has made this place feel like home. So Thanksgiving, having a lot of family in, we're going to have a lot of family in for Christmas. I mentioned Bryce's work party that we hosted at the house. And then getting a front porch swing. I cried when I sat down on it. This is so, just to give you a little picture of it, it just felt like, okay, the front yard had been in chaos for months and we did a lot of hard work up there and it is beautiful now. And so to be able to just sit down and breathe and look at how far we'd come in my home, knowing that we're going into next year, making memories here in this place. I'm just so very thankful. You know, we're decorating it for the first time for Christmas, which is a really big deal. And I find myself as I go through seasons, and each new season is brand new for us here, praying that God will bless us with many, many more. We're in the same place.
Yes.
And so, but just like Marie's life group, it just takes time. And I'm so thankful to be more settled in our home, so that we can just be a family and make memories. So, Julie, next year for us, we have dubbed the year of travel because we're done with home projects for a while. We're tired of home projects for a while, and we really like to get out of the house and make some memories someplace else. And have a place to come home to.
Yeah. And that's definitely a more fun way to spend money.
Yes.
True. Oh, that's great. Mindy, I love hearing that because I know that, like we talked about earlier, when you started the year, you were in a rental house, you didn't know where you'd be, and now you're ending in a house that feels wonderful to you. You're making memories, people are coming into it, and you're sharing it. It's just great.
Yes. Very thankful.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, the last thing on my nice list for 2021 that I realized I've been remiss and haven't said on the podcast is I'm going to be a grandmother again.
Yay!
Yes, I have not announced that. Yes, I won't be having, my daughter will be having another baby in February. So I'll be having another new granddaughter. She's expecting a girl. So we're so excited.
Goodness.
That's
you said in
awesome.
February?
Yes, right before Valentine's Day, February 12th is her due date. So it's like right after Christmas, it's going to feel like it comes up really quickly.
That is so fun, Marie. Oh my goodness.
And Pepper will be almost 2. So, they'll grow up close in age, and both girls, they'll be, I hope, close little sisters. I just think it's going to be fun. Of course, Pepper has zero idea that her whole world is about to be rocked. And every time I look at her innocent little face, I think, in about 8 or so weeks, Pepper, everything's going to seem different to you.
That's right. Oh my goodness.
Not quite as much attention.
No, but of course she'll get used to it quick and she'll love a new baby. But yes, that is some exciting news that we have to look forward to in 2022.
I'm sorry. I have to say this. You mentioned the dog. before.
Well, that's why I said I don't want to offend anyone in my family. I was getting to the grandchild. I was going to
She's saving the best for last.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
the
the best for
finale
last.
of my nice list. Mindy.
Grand finale. So sorry. I have to tease you about Clara. I just have to.
And I can almost guarantee if we do a naughty and nice list in 2022, once we have the new baby here and we get to know her, we know her name, we know her personality,
Yes.
she'll be at the very, very top.
Oh, I'm so excited. Is Abigail doing well?
She is.
As she anticipates the second baby and
yes,
all that?
Yes, she's doing great. So everything's going well. But anyways, listeners, you can watch for little updates and pictures in 2022
Yay.
on Instagram because I'm sure they'll be coming.
Oh.
All right. Well, Julie and Mindy, what else do you guys have on your nice list for 2021? Let's send it out with a few bullet points.
Well, I just wanted to say that we had the Summer Olympics in 2021 after missing them in 2020. That's a huge thing for me.
Yes.
And then we get to turn right around and have the Winter Olympics in February or January. So
big
it's
year.
like back-to-back years for the Olympics. That's just awesome.
I did not even know we were having the Winter Olympics in January.
Oh my gosh, my all-time favorite.
Yeah, Julie would know this. I don't think Maria and I would know that.
And then kind of in that same vein, it was really great to go back to the movies and to go to a concert. Like I went to a crowded concert. I saw Lauren Daigle in concert here in Nashville for my birthday. And it was a little surreal being back with that many people in one room, but it was fine. And then going back to the movies, like we've just been waiting on the latest James Bond movie. So we went to see that together. And I don't know, just kind of slowly getting back to things that we had done without for so long.
Yes,
that's certainly nice.
I totally agree with you. That was on my list too, Julie. Was there's a little amphitheater here in town, Sweetland Amphitheater, and we got to go to concerts. And I was like, wow, it's been forever going to the movies. We were also waiting for the James Bond movie. So
yeah, it was good.
Super excited about that. Just some little big things. I mean, it's just been a neat year of growth in our family. So Jacob turned 15. And when we moved, he was able to get another job at Chick-fil-A. That was a huge bonus because that's one of his favorite places to be here is at work. He got his learner's permit. Both of my boys are thriving in school. That was on my list. Getting great grades, both playing basketball. You know, that's hard. That's hard for them to move and transition. So for them to be ending the year with good grades and friends and a sports team, I couldn't ask for more. And then tongue in cheek, Abby's in her senior year of nursing school, and we were celebrating that she passed this semester because her and all of her class have had so many tears and everybody was worried they were going to fail. Oh. And so I think things are coming to fruition from things that were missed during the COVID schooling years. And those are coming to light. And praise the Lord, she passed this semester. So,
hey. And you're getting closer to having her be done completely. So that's
she's
awesome.
Almost done. One more semester.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. Well, listeners, we hope that you've enjoyed this naughty and nice list for 2021. We would love to hear what's on your naughty and nice list. Feel free to email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com or come and find us on Instagram at midlifematterspodcast. We didn't do I'm a fan, but I do want to say before we leave, in 2021, we're definitely a fan of all of you listeners. We hope that your holidays have been great and that going into the new year is great. And we look forward to spending time with you in 2022.
Yeah, we look forward to a new year with all our listeners.
That's right.
Yes, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the new year too, Julie and Mindy.
I know. Praying for wonderful things.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys next week in 2022.
Yay. Right. Sounds great.
All
bye,
right,
girls.
Bye. We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.